the vibe for the shoot today in terms of the clothes and I guess the hair and makeup and everything, I would say is a little bit like 90s grunge. Kind of reminds me of like a little bit of a back to school moment at 50. So it fits in with, I guess, my start. I started in 92, went to Miami, then to New York City, fell in love with the city and with this job and never went back to Germany. I think when I won my competition in 1992, I wanted to just get out. I wanted to get out of my small town. I wanted to go somewhere else and I wanted to experience something. I feel like I knew everyone already in my town and I don't know, looking at the magazines and seeing things or looking at movies, I want to be there. I don't want to be in this little town. So for me, that was my ticket out, and then I went to Paris, I went to Milan, London, and I cruised around everywhere and picked up little jobs here and there. And then again, when I went to America, I fell in love with America and then I never looked back. I have to say that I've always been very driven by myself and having my own ideas. Also a lot of things, I don't want to say that they fell into my lap. I always kind of looked at things that I really wanted to do and I went after them, and I always looked at it kind of like a house where you don't only just need the front door to get in the house. I was always like, okay, they don't want me here for fashion, I'm gonna go into other different places in the world. For example, my agency at the time, they were like, you're way too commercial, you will never do any of these things. Ha ha ha, Vogue, are you kidding me? So then I went to Europe and I landed on the cover of French Vogue. That was my first Vogue cover, and apparently this is like a really hot one to get, so I was like nee. I was just so excited to all the people that said no to me at the time, because people always said to me, you're too commercial, you will never land on like a real magazine cover and stuff like that. But also having been commercial wasn't really so bad, because I feel like I'm 50 now. I started when I 30 years ago, so I feel like I've been very lucky to be commercial because I'm still here, knock on wood. Where's all that wood here? Also, I was never really part of, the big five or, the real big supermodels at the time, because also at that time, the designers, they were always a little bit like, she's too commercial. It wasn't cool when you were commercial to do magazine covers or being on the runways. Or I remember going to Paris and trying all those dresses on. I could never fit in them. I was too big to fit in any of the clothes. They weren't lying, and I was thin, but they were even thinner. So I never got those jobs because also I can also not smile and then I don't look as happy if you don't want me to. So then therefore, because all the things that I wanted to do, they didn't work out, I looked for things that I could do. I mean, I'm proud of all the covers. Definitely doing Victoria's Secret. Everyone who gave me a chance at the time, I was super appreciative that they would pick me instead of someone else. And yes, wearing the biggest wings. And sometimes when I hear, I don't know, a line of someone saying, oh, and they made us wear these wings and da 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 da. And I'm like, I always wanted the wings, and I was upset if I didn't get the biggest ones. I would go to the top and I'd be like, why am I having these small wings? I want bigger wings. Because for me, it was always like a moment. This is the VS show, everyone is watching. I don't want like little chicken wings. I want the biggest wings you could possibly have. And I wore them proudly, like I loved it. Sports Illustrated, that was one of my first trips. With them, and I landed immediately on the cover, and getting that phone call from Elaine Farley, telling me that I was on the cover. It was like, when someone wins $20 million in the lottery. It was like that, because at that time, again, without social media, because magazine would lay around and, this person would pick it up and this person would pick it up. So that number was given to me. And I could really feel that too. I would go into a restaurant and people all of a sudden would be like, that's that girl from Sports Illustrated. It just was such a big bouncing board for me to really make me go to the next step in my career. For me, every little thing was important, every test that I did on the weekends, and I did a lot of them because especially in the beginning, I was way too happy, I was too curvy, and people were like, oh, who is that? Especially when I started, no one really wanted to work with me. So I was thankful for all the people that then said yes and let me have a go, you know? So for me, they're all important. And along the way, you meet people. You know, when I did Victoria's Secret, I got to wear, you know, all those gazillion-dollar bras. So then I met these jewelers, and, you know, that's how I slid into doing jewelry. You know, you meet so many amazing people along the way. And then, you know, I'm also always interested, and I ask questions, and, you know, that's how sometimes some of these connections happened and some of the businesses, you know, started. I love America's Got Talent. I love all the shows that I do because whatever I do, my whole heart and soul is into it. And it's hard for people, you know, who just every now and then click the TV on and just see a little bit. Like when I'm there, I know all the people. I know the people from 10 years ago. I don't forget them. Like when I'm there, I'm there. I'm focused. I listen to their stories. I'm interested. And there's so many amazing, crazy stories that you hear. And a lot of the times people are like, oh, you know, these sad stories and da-da-da. Those are real people with real stories. This is not someone wrote this for them. I also love to be away from everything for 2 hours. You know, when we do the live shows, nothing matters. You know, it's the people on the stage, what they're doing, the interaction between the crazy people that are sitting next to me. Also the crew, you know, after so many years, I know them all, I love them all, and we're all kind of having fun and, you know, talking crazy stuff all day. And then, okay, we're going live again in 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're like, yippee, here we are, you know, and it's just fun. So, you know, when people ask me, don't you get bored of that? It can't get boring because there's always someone new coming on that stage that I haven't met, and they do something that I've never seen before. Like the other day, there's this guy with his best buddy, and he's balancing the whole entire guy on his head. Then he climbed up the ladder and climbed down the ladder. I was like, my eyes nearly popped out of my head. So those moments are priceless. And where else do you get to see that? 2004 Leni, 2005 Henry, 2006 Johan, 2009 Lou. It just went bam, 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 because I was like, this is amazing. I love being a mom and I love having the mayhem. And I mean, I don't know how many different kind of size diapers, or, you know, the bottles have the nipple of, you know, different holes on it. I mean, I had all of them in the strollers. I mean, it was insane at the time, but I'm so happy looking back that that's how it was, because our house was always full of life and crazy, and I wouldn't want it any other way, you know? I was always tired. I think I'm still tired from those days. It gets easier, I feel like, when they get older, but then other things happen. You know, all of a sudden they move to New York, and then you text and they don't text you back within the first 10 minutes, and you're like, where are you? How come you haven't texted me back? And then Leni would be like, Mom. I advise her all the time. She just doesn't want to hear it. She couldn't care less what I say. Most of the time when I say something, she would do actually the opposite, just because I said that. So, you know, sometimes I feel like I want to say the other thing so that she does what I would do. Obviously, when they're out of the house, it gets very hard, you know? All the lights are on, and in Leni's room, the lights are off. And, you know, it's getting used to. And then Henry's gonna be next, because, you know, then Johan the year after that, and then there will only be Lou and us. So it's scary. We barbecue pretty much every weekend. So, you know, my kids are always in the garden. They can all invite their friends. I mean, I have like everything on there: sausages and chicken and steaks and, you know, vegetables. I make like big potato salad, whatever it is. So they always know, and I want them to feel that way always, that no matter where they go and what they're doing on the weekend, Mama's always doing big barbecue. And I hope that, you know, they still will come back and have our barbecue on the weekend. So I'm like a super eclectic person. I'm a little bit of a hoarder. In the best possible way, if you ask my kids, because they're always in my closet shopping. I sometimes shop in my closet and I'm like, what is this? This is amazing. I've never seen this before. I have stuff everywhere. Like if you come to my house, you're like, this is not possible. Like I have a huge walk-in closet. I have a really hard time throwing things away because I know I'm gonna wear this again at some point, and I do. Like for example, the other day I had on this bustier, black bustier top that Christian Siriano made for me 100 years ago. I was like, I zipped it up, I'm like, dang it, I still fit in it. I love it. I put it on with my jeans. I don't know, I just love rummaging through my old things and being surprised myself what I have in the closet. So I like boho style. Sometimes I like to be boss baby, where I love a suit. I love mini skirts. I love boots. So I have gazillions of boots. Sometimes I like the hip hop vibe. Then I have like the baggy pants. Then it's the 70s. I mean, you name it. I love it all. The oldest thing in my closet, probably my jeans. Not so much my shoes anymore. Like when I first started and I came to New York in 1994, I had probably 3 pairs of heels. I had a black pair, a silver pair, and a gold pair, and they were on rotation. So if you look at old photos of mine when I'm on the red carpet and people were not giving things, those are the shoes that I had, you know. And then I introduced maybe a cream or, you know, but that's what would go with everything, and I didn't have the money to have it all at the time. And I guess also because when you don't come from a lot of money, I feel like that's what made me become a hoarder. Because my daughter, she'd be like, oh, I just got this, do you want it? Take it. You know, if someone is, she's just easy to give things away, but I think it's because she's always had so many things and I didn't. So for me, I would have to hang on to everything. And I'm a Gemini in the sense that it really depends on my feeling, and I want to dress however my mood is that day, you know? It's the same also when I do a TV show. I have to think about it days before a little bit, and I kind of, it sounds stupid, but it kind of sinks in, and then I feel super comfortable in what I have on when I'm on TV, because I do fittings weeks before. Like I'm very German that way. Everything is in a bag, everything is numbered, everything is photographed. You know, I know exactly what earrings, what shoes, and then when I'm there, I feel like I've done it all already in a way, a little bit. I'm just me, doing my job, loving what I'm doing. I feel like I've been very lucky, and sometimes I'm like, I hope no one catches me. Why am I even here? How did I get this lucky? You know what I mean?